Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias. Hope all is well. Hope you had a great night of sleep and that you are ready to get this party started this morning. Right? I am Jamie Irvin filling in for, well, technically I'll be on this call anyway, but I guess you could say filling in for Alyssa Pinkleton right now. Let's jump in the market and see what's going on. I like to start off by looking at the Dow futures. Normally futures are a little changed as benchmark heads for winning week. NAS future was up 0.24%. S&P futures and NAS futures, I'm sorry, that was Dow futures. S&P and NAS futures are both up. Currently, Asia was mixed, with Nifty 50 being the only one that was down 0.14%. Europe all green. As far as the US, everything is green. Interestingly enough, the VIX is up 0.39%. So that is something to be aware of. Normally, when we see the VIX up, we typically see these heading down. So we'll see how this plays out for the rest of the day. But as of right now, we have the VIX up and the indices are up as well. All right. We do not have any earnings today. So this is our day off in terms of earnings before market and after market. So we don't have anything to worry about. We did get some news this morning that did cause some fluctuations in the market. Fluctuation is probably a strong word. A gap up is what I saw happen. This is on SPX. I'm looking at the 15-minute chart. So there was a gap up this morning, 5744 ish, and it gapped up to 57.55 and then started heading down. So we did have a gap up early. We have, for our Forex Factory calendar, at 8:30 there was the core PCE price index month over month. That was a little lower than forecast. The goods, and that was a red folder. Goods trade balance was better than forecast. The personal income month over month and the personal spending month over month were lower than forecast slightly. Those were yellow folders. Good trades balance was yellow folder. The preliminary wholesale inventories month over month was neutral in terms of its impact. So it was the same as forecast, yellow folder. At 10 o'clock, orange folder, revised University of Michigan consumer sentiment. Orange folder, that's something that I think we should definitely be aware of. Revised University of Michigan inflation expectations, yellow folder. And then at 1:15, we have FOMC member Bowman speaking. So that is what is listed on Forex Factory calendar. Let's check out investing.com, see what investing.com has to say. And I'm going to make sure there's nothing at the top here. Good morning, everybody. Lady T, Janae Ward, Tamar, good morning. Thank y'all for joining us. So we got over here the same information. We'll skip the stuff we went over already. Real personal consumption. So you got personal spending month over month for August, lower than forecast. That was 2 stars at 8:30. We got retail inventories, excluding auto for August. So that was neutral. And they got real personal consumption month over month for August. That's 1 star. So, and that was neutral impact. Retail inventories was a 2 star. Wholesale inventories month over month for August was 1 star. And then These are the University of Michigan inflation expectations. Those are the things that are coming up, 5-year, 1 year, and a 5-year. So we got a little more detail here. Consumer expectations, consumer sentiment for September. These are all 2 stars. So that's something for us to be aware of as we watch the market and attempt to enter. Michigan current conditions is 1 star. All of this is coming up in 10 minutes. Atlanta Fed GDP now is also coming up. That's 40 minutes. That's 2 stars. That's for Q3. And then, of course, if you've been on this call around this time, we usually end up seeing these U.S. Baker Hughes, the oil rig count, the total rig count. This at 1 o'clock, that's 2 stars for those. Bowman speaking is also 2 stars. So the way I look at it, we really need to be careful. We really need to be careful at this 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock time frame. And the reason I say 2 o'clock is because it's good to be aware of how long something may last. But I'm seeing 1 o'clock here. 1:15 is where I'm seeing Bowman speaking. So that's a 2 star. And then we're closer to, let's say, power hour. So, well, in power hour, that's 3:30. This is when we get into the CFTC GPB speculative net positions. And I'm sorry, it's the one up under that. This one right here is for Great Britain. The one right up under it is CFTC, the aluminum speculative net positions. So this is where we get into aluminum, copper, corn, crude oil, gold, NASDAQ 100, natural gas, S&P 500, silver, soybean, wheat. So those are those speculative net positions. All of these are not one star. Some of these are 2 star. Crude oil, gold, and NASDAQ 100 and S&P 500 are all the 2 star ones in these speculative net positions. So those are the ones that we have a tendency to see on a regular basis when we look at this list. And I believe this list occurs at the end of the month as well. So once again, for those of you who just joined, I am Jamie Irvin filling in for Alyssa on this morning. If you have any tickers, please drop them in the chat box and we will take a look at them. Of course, we will swing around and look at our usuals, meaning SPY, SPX. I'm adding RUD to the list because RUD don't get enough love, so I'm adding Russell 2000 to the list. Let's see. Let's check out our Mancini numbers for today. We got yesterday was all about the one level in SPX, 57.25. After breaking it out, we ran to 57.58 plus target, and 57.25 became support. We've tested it 3 times with one actionable fail breakdown, 1 p.m. yesterday. Planned today, 57.23, well tested, and 57.07 are supports. If it keeps, 57.45, 57.58, 57.65 and higher are live. Short only if it's under 57.07. Your SPY numbers, according to the higher and the lower numbers that are listed here, would be 570 at the top. I'm sorry, 570 at the bottom, 576 at the top. 576 would be the higher number. All right, matter of fact, let me get those switched up for you. Right now, I'm going to reorient our numbers. But it's 570 at the bottom, 576. We're going to go 576 at the top, 570 at the bottom. Going to save, file save, and we will hit refresh. All righty. So this is 570. Y'all might not be able to see that as clearly depending on what device you're on, but 576 is the top number and 570 is the bottom number, representing the highest number that was shown here and the lowest number here. If you are looking at SPY, right? That is what that is all about. So let us moonwalk ourselves on over Nangali. Good morning. Let's moonwalk ourselves on over to the chat. So as we discussed on yesterday, SPX and SPY do not move exactly the same. So we will look at both charts. They move similarly because they're based on the same foundation, but they're not exactly the same. This is what happened yesterday, though. This was the 15-minute from yesterday. And once once it broke out of this candle, I'm sorry, once it broke out of this 15-minute range, which was around 10:15, I believe if I recall right, we were on the call and we were talking about the retest that we saw. And so when it went to retest here, it never did come back up as high. And so that was on yesterday. This was one of those, once it dropped, it's pretty much stayed down. All right. And so if you do the 15-minute breakout, I am on the 15-minute chart, SPX. I'm using Thinkorswim. So for right now, what we have is a gap up here for today. And I'm just going to fill this in as such. This, I'm not sure what color will show up on your devices, but let's assume this is a bubblegum color, pink. If I'm being specific, it would be Bubblicious. That was my gum growing up. Hubba Bubba was my gum growing up. But Bubblicious, definitely. All right. So what are we seeing here? On SPX, we had a nice little gap up this morning. And so we are waiting to see what it's going to do. If you trade the breakout, you're going to wait to see if it's going to break out in either direction. And right now we have the gap from this morning that we're just waiting to see what it's going to do, but it is currently providing support, right? There's a little bit of a buffer, in other words, for this gap up, 57.49. So that's about $5. We all know that SPX can barrel right through there with no problem. But this is a buyer's gap, which means buyers pushed it up on this morning. Okay, so that's SPX for right now. We can take a look at Spy, Miss American Pie. And let's see here. Zoom. There you go. So we are over here. So let's look at this on the daily first. We can see what went down. We had when the zero in a little bit activity from the previous day. So we did have for earlier this week, we had some gaps and things of that nature. We set a high on SPY. 574.71 is what we have as the high currently. Obviously, SPY is running up. Running, and more running. All right, so we're going to remove this drawing. And we that's what I want right there. Let's go back this way. And this is all right. Something's not right. Oh, yes, it is. It hasn't So we'll do 15. The same thing for SPY. I marked the 15-minute candle on SPY just because I'm used to doing it on SPX type products. In other words, usually. But in this case, I actually see something else. I see a seller zone on a 15-minute chart. Leg in, tune the base, leg out. There's a chair formation right here. So this is in the buyer zone currently. So that is actually happening. Okay. All right. So this is what we'll do. One thing to keep in mind, we're back on the daily chart. I'm going to put this gap that happened earlier this week in here just to make sure that it is marked. And goes about right there. Close. It closed down here, opened up here, and price action pushed down right here. So that's why I am where I am in terms of this, marking this as the gap right here. So what this means for our purposes, of course, it is still heading up and looking for its level. Be aware though that this entire, I would say, zone right here, price zone, since this used to be support right here, and it went through there, this zone became resistance. So this will be something to watch out for when it comes back down. And we're on the daily chart, so just a heads up. As of right now, though, it's bouncing around, and we'll let it do its thing. But so usually, I don't know when you all get in, but I usually kind of wait. And don't forget, we have a couple other events that are happening throughout the day. So if you have, I don't know if people do, I'm assuming people do scalping and all that other stuff. Just be aware that we still have those calendar events that are happening that could impact your entry. All right. So just be aware of that. Normally I'll be looking to see, since we're sellers, I will be looking to see what is going on right about now, just to see what the potential would be if I got in. Since things are generally running up, I'll be looking to do a one spread. 571 minus 570 is 1, which is times 100 for 100 shares, one contract. That is $100 of collateral. So this will be about 10% return on collateral. Would not be a bad idea if I was looking to get in that. Also, based on what this is looking like, 84% out of the money. So that wouldn't be bad. Of course, it is very early. So jumping in too soon. I usually start looking at about 10:30. But like I said, I will be trading with caution on today. It's because we have those extra things that are happening. This is actually Russell 2000 is my favorite. So we got Triple Q. Triple Q is, of course, running up as well. Again, we have a gap right here. Take a look and see what Triple Q was talking about on the options chain. Right. Oops, there you go. Right. So we have this. Of course, it is working its way. It's actually depending on how you I almost want to say emotionally receive gaps. This looks like it is kind of really filled this gap over here. There's a couple different ways you can chart this: leg in, two in the base, leg out here, which means that it is in this seller zone. Either way, it's really in the seller zone. Some people will go up higher and move these lines up here. Smaller leg in, one in the base, leg out. I am okay with this one because I like being closer to price, generally speaking. So I would be leg in, base, two in the base, leg out. That gap down is leg out. So either way, it is still in a buyer zone. I'm sorry, seller zone. Either way, it is still in the seller zone. I will be down here for my buyer zone on the daily chart for triple Q. And so I'm doing leg in, one in the base, leg out, because this was a gap up here. Now I pulled this down, this line down to include this neighboring candle, to include this in the zone. All right. So that's why I didn't put it at the bottom of here. So that's why that's in there. But if you notice when it gapped up, create that space. This is a buyer's gap. And it came down and tapped it and kept heading up. It looks like it is maybe trying to make its way back down. We're not sure. But what we can do is, since it is looking like it's trying to be bearish, we can go ahead and at least take a look and see what it would look like if we were doing a call credit spread, assuming price was trying to head down. This is also a one spread. 493 minus 492 is one. So one spread, right? Times 100. So that's $100. 16%. That's 0.16. So the 16 cent, that would be a $15 or $16 that return on your money. It's not bad. But again, price is bouncing up towards this area, which is why the premiums will be a little bit higher. I would definitely be letting this settle a little bit more for the day, but I will still be looking at the numbers to see. I like to at least look and see 486. So that's 11 cents. So on $100, it's 11. It's over 10% return on collateral. You will be getting in right about here. That's what that is. That is saying in terms of that strike. So you will be just under here. 486 is about right there. So if you were doing an iron condor, which is both sides, that's essentially what I was showing you. If you were to go up and on that side, you're looking at well over 20% return on your money, or shall I say 20% return on collateral. If you were to do both sides on triple Q. I don't trust announcements, FOMC stuff. So I tread lightly. All right. This would be Coin, aka Coinbase. So if you're not familiar with Coinbase, they are connected to Bitcoin. So this is a ticker you would track if you are, or well, it's a ticker people would track if they're looking at, if they're familiar with Bitcoin in general. This has been moving up since well, about the past year, and some changes recently started pulling back. But lately they've been talking about Bitcoin. You know, they always rumoring Bitcoin is going to go higher, so who knows? But it would not surprise me. That was the monthly. This is the weekly chart. We have some strong zones in here. Strong seller zone on the weekly chart right here. This is a nice buyer zone down here. Right. And when I say nice, I'm just saying there's a reaction to buyers down here. And then leg in, base, leg out. I would prefer a stronger leg out here, but this is the week that we are on currently. So we have some strong candles that are happening over here in this area. And here we are on the daily. Personally, I would probably, based on the way these candles are going, obviously we can see that this is trending upwards on the daily. Right? These lows are heading up. These highs are heading up. Anybody know what that looks like? I look familiar. A pole running north to south. Lows are heading up. Highs are heading up. Let me see. That looks like a bearish flag. That could be a bearish flag. All right. We'll see. I have seen stuff where it will look like a bearish flag, but could also be a double bottom or triple bottom that's on an angle. I've seen that before too. But anyway, so for this to be a bearish flag, that's something to pay attention to. There's many different ways to chart what we're looking at right now. So I don't want to throw a whole bunch of different lines on here, but I will say that looks like, to me, looks like a bearish flag. In terms of our regular charting candles, because of this indecision in here, a lot of wicks, small bodies, I would be more inclined to either go to the 4-hour or not impressed with that either. So I would go to the weekly, and the weekly has the stronger zones. So I would be looking at the prices for the weekly. Price points for the weekly, and making my decision from there. Right, so we got a leg in, base, leg out right here. Whoops. Leg in, base, leg out right here. And then probably should add this on. Thought there was a, here. There you go. So since these are stronger zones, I'm gonna come down here to this one down here first. And again, I'm on the weekly chart. So I've seen this down here charted multiple ways. Some people have this leg in, 3 in the base, leg out. And I've also seen people chart it where they will put 4 in the base because they like this leg out more, right? So it'll be 4 in the base here, and this will be a stronger leg out. I'm not here to say what's right or what's wrong, right? Whatever is going to work for you, do that. But I will say that I do see here that this price area has been touched multiple times. It's been support and resistance. So this will be what I consider a strong parity line, if you will. So I'll be looking at using some of these numbers because they have the stronger zones. We can do a leg in, base, leg out, but I feel like these candles are more so momentum candles. So I really don't see this as I see this as a better definition of a zone than this. I acknowledge this as a pullback, and I acknowledge that this is overall on a downtrend, right? This is actually heading down, even if you go like this, right? It's still heading down regardless. So just overall bearish, but this seems to be a pullback. But it is definitely hitting this parity line as far as I'm concerned. So I will be looking at, and you might not get a lot of premiums on coin for this Friday. I don't know because I have not traded it in a while. But if this is I'm seeing a 2.5 spread. Let me see. I thought I had them on my watch list. 1031. Okay. The premiums looked weird. So if we did, you can do 180, you can do 77% off the money, right? That would be one if you want to go below. So this is a 2.5 spread here. So 39 cents. So $39 on a 2.5 spread. That's more than 10% return on collateral. We will be looking at 177, so 180. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. So these coin do it this well. 177. Let me switch to the day. Switch back to the daily. So it will be putting you 177 in this area right here. And again, these yellow lines are for the weekly. So that's what around what that would be 75% out the money. That's a little too close for me. So I probably be looking to do an iron condor possibly. Which of course is a less money in that situation. But that's because this is for Friday. This will be 23. Now see, keep in mind also that this switches to a 5 spread after a certain amount, after one of these 7.5. So if you wanted both sides to be a 5 spread, really all you would do is just go down and to the next strike, skip a strike and go down or up depending on what you're doing. And then now you got the 10% return on collateral right here. So we got that. All right. So that will be there. And again, if you wanted to do above and below for a possible iron condor, I would be up here. Yep. So that's almost. And of course, you can always put in 0.25. Put that in yourself. And confirm and send that and see if it'll fill for you. All right, so that would be your iron condor if you did both sides. All right, let's take a look at what our latest numbers are. Dow Jones is up 0.66%. S&P 500 is up 0.16%. NASDAQ is the only one down negligibly, 0.04%. Russell 2K is up the most, 0.85%. The VIX is still climbing, although slightly, 0.07%. All right. Let us swing back on over to check our 15-minute breakout for SPX. See what happened. All right. So we have not had an actual breakout yet on SPX. It is bouncing in between its original 15-minute price levels, right? So nothing has actually happened yet. I'm pretty sure within the next, I would say, within the next hour, some change, there probably will be something happening. Let's see here. I had Russell on this list. Russell yesterday did the same thing in terms of its movement. Did the same thing as SPX, of course. Once it came down, it never did return. It also came and retested its low, the lower of the 15-minute breakout. I like Russell 2000, like trading RUT on its 15-minute because sometimes you'll see a little bit more breakout potential or something like that, such as this, right? So they hit this reversal and actually gapped up. There's actually a gap right there in between. So that would be something to watch. Of course, it gapped up for this morning as well. That will be here-ish. Right? So this is already gapped up and is on its way. Looks like it might be heading up. So this would be one of those potential PDT hack situations. Before those events get started, I'm trying to get that to lock, but I'll be doing a little more investigating. I usually get in about 10:30, a little after 10:30 is when I start looking to get in. All right. So I don't see any more tickers. So we should be good to go. We are going to, don't forget, we do have a membership. All right. Educator2trader.com. Feel free to join our membership. We have great people who are part of our membership. I'm not saying that because I'm in the membership. Very cool people. Everybody is helpful and supportive. You will get a question answered if you have one. So it's great to have people to trade with. Shoulder to cry on when that trade don't go your way. All right. We do have E2T freebies, free content. It's E2T dash freebies, FREEBIES. E2T freebies. Make sure you see that. Educator to trader, free trading resources. E2T freebies. So feel free to stop by there and check out what is on that list. All right. We do have courses on educatortotrader.com. Everything from the wheel strategy, the vertical credit spreads, debit spreads is on there. There's more than enough tools to learn from on that website that you could get started at least somewhere when it comes to what you were trying to accomplish as a trader. All right. So with all of that being said, please don't forget to click like. If you got something out of today's broadcast or any broadcast, please click like and subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. Right? Let us get on our merry way. I'm trying to get our other. There you go. Our E2T daily declaration. By faith, I am a successful trader. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. Money likes me because money is comfortable around me. It is drawn to me. E2T daily prayer. Lord, give us wisdom and knowledge for our trades today. Help us to make smart and lucrative decisions for our portfolios. All right, everybody. Don't forget, it is 10:25. We got the Atlanta Fed GDP now for Q3 coming up in 4 minutes. And then 1 o'clock is when the Baker Hughes information starts dropping on investing.com. That is 2 stars. All right. And Bowman starts speaking at 1:15. And that's also 2 stars. So we got a run of 2 stars happening. And then at 3:30 is the speculative net positions. And some of those are 2 stars as well. 3:30 is when we start hitting that power hour time frame too. So, it is a Friday, so be aware. All right, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. Greatly appreciate your support. And you all have a great, great trading day. Let us know if you need it. You can always drop a comment in the box, or don't forget, we're on Telegram. All right. If we don't see you in Telegram, we will see you hopefully on Sunday. All right. Hasta la vista. Enjoy the rest of your day.